Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're going to talk about a topic that's very important in Egypt, which is the social protection measures taken by the government in the past few years. The social protection measures, the government has increased the minimum wage rate at the level of the government, the private sector, and the pensions, and increased the social protection bundles also. And to talk more about this interesting topic, we are very pleased to host over the phone Mrs. Maha Mahgoub. She is a sustainable development expert. Good morning, Mrs. Maha.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for talking to us on Nile TV today. And I would like to ask you about the latest developments concerning the social protection measures taken by the government.
Good morning. President Abdel Fattah Sisi directed approval of new social packages during the current year, 2025. The new social protection package is being studied to ease the burden on citizens.
Yeah.
So the Egyptian state has launched up to 6 social packages to comfort rising prices and ease the burdens on citizens. These packages include increasing pensions, raising the minimum wages, and expanding cash support programs. One of the President Sisi's most prominent decisions in this regard was to raise minimum wages several times to reach Egyptian pound, about 6,000 Egyptian pound currently, and a total increase of 400 over the past year, 400%. So the government also allocated around 41 billion Egyptian pound to the Kaful Karama program in the fiscal year 2024-25, which benefits about 5.2 million families, equivalent to 21 million citizens.
Mrs. Ma, I would like you to tell me more about the role of the biggest development program, Decent Life, or Haya Karima.
The Decent Life, Haya Karima, is a national project for developing Egyptian countryside. It's a multi-faceted and integrated initiative launched by the President Abdel Fattah Sisi in 2019, aiming to improve the living conditions and daily life of Egyptian citizens within the framework of integration and unification of effort between national state institutions, private sector institutions, civil society, and development partners in Egypt. In less than 5 years, Haya Karima has succeeded in becoming the largest and the most important civil society initiative in Egypt in the Arab world, achieving unprecedented achievement in the field of social and service development.
And Mrs. Maha, how do you evaluate the achievements of this initiative and changing the lives of millions of Egyptians?
Actually, the Decent Life initiative has profoundly impacted millions of Egyptians by improving the living standards, access to essential services, and and economic opportunities. It is reducing rural-urban disparities and promoting inclusive development across the country. So the marginalized people groups now have better access to essential services such as clean water, sanitation, healthcare, and electricity. This reduced disparities in living conditions and program of social equity.
Mrs. Maha, how do you view the world crisis impact on Egypt, and how is Egypt coping with this crisis, coping with it in terms of the citizen, the normal citizen, providing the necessities for the normal citizens?
Yes, the regional and global crises in recent years, including the COVID-19 pandemic, geopolitical tension, economic
and also the wars around us.
Yes, of course. And the climate-related changes have significantly impacted the world These crises have disrupted global supply chains, increasing inflation rates, led to job losses, and strained health care.
Okay.
And the response for Egypt crisis, we had an economic reform which implemented economic reform to include currency devaluation and subsidy cuts to stabilize the economy. And these measures helped Egypt to build more resilient economy and attract foreign investment. As well, in the healthcare system, Egypt just reacted effectively during the pandemic of COVID-19 and ramped up healthcare infrastructure, increased ICU capacity, and launched a vaccination campaign. On the social measures, the government expanded social safety net, including cash transfer and food subsidies to protect a vulnerable population. And lastly, the diversification of economy, as Egypt invested in various sectors like renewable energy, technology, and agriculture to reduce dependency on traditional sectors.
Okay. Mrs. Maha, you just mentioned the importance of the health care sector and the government's efforts to renew this sector. I would like you to tell me more about the education in Egypt. The efforts exerted by the government.
Yes, of course. As Egypt improved and upgraded the new facilities of health sector as well, it did a great effort in educational sector as it has reformed programs, implementation of educational reforms focusing on curriculum updates, teacher training, and integration of technology in classrooms, as well digital transformation in education, introducing this digital platform for learning, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, and investment in vocational training expansion, technical and vocational education to align with labor market needs. So all of these achievements improved the quality of education and increased students' engagement during modernized learning methods and creating access to education even in remote areas via digital platforms.
Okay, Mrs. Maha, tell me more about the efforts exerted by the government to invest in the human elements.
Yes, of course, Egypt did a huge effort in human elements, as the government has undertaken various initiatives to invest in human capital, recognizing that developing the skills, health, and education of its population is essential for sustainable economic growth and social development. These efforts exerted by the state to invest in human elements, for example, in education, as we mentioned, it has been reformed and focusing on critical thinking, creativity, digital literacy from the early childhood to secondary education, upgrading the curricula, teaching training programs, and the health and nutrition, of course, the universal health insurance to be applied for all citizens all over Egypt, and youth empowerment by upgrading and developing the youth centers and sports facilities to build more centers for youth to be accessible for all youth, and the entrepreneurship support, just establish of incubators, accelerations, and support young entrepreneurs and startups, fostering innovation and job creation.
Mrs. Maha, moving to Egypt's Vision 2063, would you please elaborate on this topic?
Yes, of course. Egypt Vision 2063 inspired by the African Union's Agenda 2063, and it's a long-term strategic framework that aims to transform Egypt into a prosperous and resilient nation by focusing on sustainable development, economic growth, and social inclusion. This vision reflects the aspiration of various sorry,
It's okay.
of various stakeholders, including the private sector, intellectuals, the civil society, and the academia, and seeks to align their effort towards common national goals.
Okay.
And of course, these reflections of the private sector impart vision of 2063 as the roadmap to create more conducive business environment, encouraging investment, innovations, and partnerships that drive economic growth. And civil society view the vision as a platform to promote social justice, equality, and community development, ensuring that the benefits of growth for each level in the society.
Going back to the social protection measures taken by the government lately, I would like to tell me more about the targets of these social measures.
Of course, all these projects, they are targeting vulnerable people in the society. And of course, it provided a lot of assistance to those people, and mainly they are targeting educational system, healthcare, and infrastructure. For example, it's providing decent houses, raising efficiency of homes, building roofs, building its residential complex in the most needy village, and extending water, sewage. The infrastructure, for example, establishing micro projects and achieving the role of productive cooperative in villages. In the medical service, they are building hospitals and health units, equipping them with equipment and operating within the medical staff. For example, as well, the educational service, building and operating schools and nurses, equipping them, providing educational staff, establishing literacy, and economic empowerment, just to train and employ through medium, small-size projects, establishing industrial and craft complex, and providing job opportunities. And of course, there are several interventions of human development and environmental interventions, such as collecting garbage and exploring ways to recycle.
Dr. Maha Mahgoub, Sustainable Development Expert, thank you very much for talking to us on ILTV. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and we will be back.